Okay, Daniela, you can start.
Yes, thank you very much. So welcome everyone to this afternoon's last session under the public sector strand of the COMIF event. You're now listening to the session Sustainable Transformation of Public Buildings and Infrastructure in the city of Gijón in Spain. My name is Daniela Bachner. I am project advisor in the Life Energy and Life Climate unit in the European Climate, Infrastructure and Environment and Executive Agency, which is CINEA in short. CINEA manages a wealth of programs supporting the Green Deal and in particular the LIFE program. And I will be your moderator during this session. So during the next 30 minutes, we are going to listen to two different speakers. The first one is Patricia Garcia Zapico. She's the General Director of Innovation and Promotion of the City Council of Gijón in Spain. And afterwards, we are listening to Raul Pratap Singh, who is Fund Manager for the EEF, because this project benefits from the EEF Technical Assistance Facility, which supports public beneficiaries in developing bankable, sustainable energy investment programs. Before we're going to the presentations, I would like to highlight our house rules. So I would ask you to keep your microphones mute. And I would also encourage you to put your questions throughout the session into the chat, because we will have, after the presentations, a dedicated 15 minutes slot for questions and answers. So the last 15 minutes are dedicated to that. And I would like to pass the floor now to Patricia. She will explain to us the smart and sustainable city model of the city of Gijón and how it will transform throughout the next 15 years. Patricia, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, thank you very much. To begin with, I would like to thank the European Energy Efficiency Fund for the opportunity to present the project of our city in this forum. Perfect. This is my presentation. Next, please. I have structured my presentation in 7 points. First of all, I wish to introduce you my city and the city council group. Then I will show you the big figures of the contract we have in place. After, I will take about the projects that we are developed and that allow us to get to where we are now. The characteristics of the bidding process will be the next point to be discussed, and as well as the current situation. And finally, what this project means for the future of Gijón. Next, please. Next. Thank you. 3 slides to talk about Gijón. Gijón is a city in the north of the Iberian Peninsula, as is the most populated city on the Cantabrian coast. Specifically, we have a population of more than 270,000 inhabitants, and almost 93% live in the urban area. And more than a quarter of our population is over 6 years old. Gijón has a territory of more than 180 square kilometers, and the city almost 14 square kilometers. Next. The city council group is made up of the city council itself, but also of a number of foundations, municipal companies, and public-private mixed companies. For example, the organization dedicated to culture, education, social services, and sport activities. As for the entirely municipal companies, we have the company that supplies water to the city, the one to manage the public transport, the one in charge of the environment and cleaning, the one dedicated to local business promotion, the company that brings together the activities of tourism and festivities, and finally, the municipal housing company. With the city council, the general director of innovation reports directly to the mayor, and it has duties to manage the smart and sustainable growth strategy of council city. the coordination and proposition of the municipal and city digital and energy transformation, as well as the promotion of innovation in all municipal areas. Next, please. If we talk about the City Council Group in terms of numbers, we have a budget of 320 million euros, almost 3,000 workers and around 450 municipal buildings of all types. An electricity consumption of more than 40 million kilowatt hours per year and a fleet of more than 500 vehicles of different types. Next. These slides summarize the main figures of the project. The project has a duration of 15 years. The amount of the investment is more than 55 million euros, and all the energy will be green. All the council's 43,000 slides will be renewed. The interoperable network of Internet of Things will be implemented. Integrated management will be set in 157 municipal buildings. More than 80,000 tons of CO2 will be reduced in 15 years, and almost 200 million kilowatt hours will no longer be consumed during the total period of the contract. Next, please. Since 2017, we have been working on several integrating projects with the chronogram that you can see in this slide. Our first experience was with the Smart Lighting pilot project, where we showed the implementation of a comprehensive solution to enable the Internet of Things in the city and smart lighting control. This project implemented only 1,215 smart lighting points to test and validate the model. Next. At the same time, the City Council signed a protocol with the European Energy Efficiency Fund to provide technical assistance for the comprehensive replacement of a public lighting, the renovation of certain buildings and installation, and incorporating of technologies for the intelligent management of public services, with the aim to reduce the energy bill. The mentioned fund has contracted the consulting services for the performance of an investment-grade energy audit to carry out the equipment inventory, the lighting map, the installation and consumption audit, the management model of the service include each point, the Internet of Things networks, the city platform with the verticals of intelligent and integral management of the lighting and municipal buildings and installation, in order to define the different financial economic scenarios to study the technical economic facility of the different options. Next. For the last couple of years, the City Council has been implementing the Gijón initiative, promoted by Red.S, National Plan of Digitalization. This initiative includes, among others, the actions called Smart Lighting and Smart Buildings, incorporating in the city platform the verticals for the integrated management and remote management of lighting and buildings. This initiative is financed through the Intelligent Growth Operational Program of the European Regional Development Fund. So the actions described must be operational at least until 2028. Next. In March 2020, and only with our own resource, we have launched Gijón Demo Lab for Lighting, which is a purpose-built demonstration space for manufacturers and services companies to check interoperability, integration, and operating tests between the different devices and between those and the municipal Internet of Things network and the city platform, all to enable the necessary tests to ensure maximum concurrence in the bidding process. In data, 18 companies from the public lighting and energy services sector participated. Those with the largest presence in volume in the sector in Spain, and even some from the important foreign manufacturers with no significant presence in Spain. City 1 sets of lighting node accepted. Next. To ensure the best specification for the tender, in 2020, we also contracted with our own resource and without any additional fund, a specialized external technical assistance in 3 areas. Energy audit, to update the audits that have been done with the technical assistance of the European Energy Efficiency Fund, legal issues, and technology and the service management model. In August 2020, the tendering process continued with the opening of the preliminary market consultation, which has allowed to contrast the technical requirements, the management model, the technologies and protocols to be implemented, to inform the economic operators about the plans and requirements to complete, and as to promote the participation and concurrence in order to gather information for a better preparation of the contract. Next. The following slides are dedicated to explain the characteristics of the tendering process and each of the services that comprise it. The first point, that it is a contract for the entire City Council group, hence the reason for explaining all the entities and companies that were part of the group. This contract also includes the usual characteristics of these types of contracts, such as energy and supply management, conservation, total guarantee, and investments in the renovation of the consuming installation. But they wanted to go a step further by incorporating disruptive features that I will explain in the next slides, and that are related to investments in renewable energies, independent control and contract monitoring office, innovation, sustainability, corporate social responsibility. Next. The contract consists of 6 major services. Services 1, about energy management and energy supplies. Service 2, maintenance and upkeep. And Service 3, total and integral guarantee. Next. Service 4, this includes investments for the innovation and improvement of the facilities, implementation and financing of works for the improvement and renovation of facilities, which will be financed by the successful bidder, who will recover the amount of the investment through the savings in energy consumption achieved within the term of the contract, including the maintenance with full guarantee of these new facilities, more than 2 million euros per year and almost 35.5 million euros in total. Investing lighting includes the replacement of lights, installation of the IoT network, adaptation of the control centers, realization of the installation, and management assets in the base of the city platform. It includes the possibility of engaging citizens in the choice of lighting using participative processes, municipal building and facilities replacement of lamp and lights, incorporating of lighting regulation system and sensorization of municipal buildings integrated with the municipal IoT network and the city platform, and management of assets in the asset database of the city platform. The invest in lighting plus the investment in municipal buildings total 23 million euros, and our company has the possibility of financing this investment through the European Energy Efficiency Fund. Next, please. Service 5. The purpose of this benefit is to promote the improvement of energy efficiency through the incorporation of equipment and installation that promote energy saving, energy efficiency, smart grids, energy communities, and the use of renewables and residual energies, such as biomass, solar thermal energy, photovoltaic, cogeneration, and other renewable source and technology that have not been contemplated in the actions of benefit services for. This installation will be studied, proposed, and carried out by the successful bidder after validation and acceptance by the City Council and financing through the European, national, or regional funding lines through serving or sales of energy achieved within the contract period and will have no economic impact on the contract budget. Next. The purpose of the Service 6 is provision to optimize and take advantage of the opportunities and externalities generated during the execution of the contract to facilitate the transitions and green and digital transformation of Gijón, and those other necessary for the correct execution of the contract, especially with regard to the control systems but administration in relation to saving commitments, consumptions, compliance with the provision and service level agreements. It includes service associated with investments, quality control office service, other works and services, investment to improve infrastructure, investment to improve the performance of the facilities. And this service includes the Gijón Demo Lab office. They mean to make people and agents of the city participants in technology progress, the transitions to a new energy model and the way of providing energy service with a social and sustainability component that drives the achievement of the objectives outlined by European and the United Nations in terms of sustainable development goals, green and digital development, energy transition, and social and territorial cohesion of the municipality through public and private collaboration. Next. To sum up, this entire contract is carried out in a total duration of 15 years. Of each of the services has the duration in months shown in this slide. Also, as a summary, the total figures for each of service, which represent a contract of more than 200 million euros for total of the 15 years. Next. What is the current status of the bidding process? We are currently carrying out the technical evaluation of all the bids. This is being done by a multidisciplinary team, made of colleagues from different areas of lighting, architecture, information technology, employment, quality, education, and innovation. On the left is the chart with all the criteria that are being taken into account for this assessment. And on the right is the list of the 6 companies or groups of companies that submit bids. Our forecast is to have it awarded before the end of this year. Next. And finally, I would like to share a thought with you. For a long time, we have been talking about the smart cities and territories, places where the intensive use of technologies transforms services, improve relation between people and their city hall, and change the very governance of the public sector by incorporating new actors. But the city's intelligence is really demonstrated in how it's positioned to face the major challenge. And one of our great challenges of this time is the unsustainable and inefficient consumption of energy. In Gijón, we focus on it through our smart and sustainable city model, one of the main actions of which is the project I have just mentioned. And this model, to reach a smart and environmentally sustainable Gijón, is put innovation as the backbone, but also as an integrator of all municipal initiatives. One of the keys to becoming intelligent is to fade away the duality city hall and city. They are not two insulated entities. that interact. We are one, and we will achieve this through our city platform. Technological innovation as means and a service for the city is structured in this platform. Now we have the base, but we will build the future on it. Our city platform is the brain that will allow us to be intelligent. And as in the people who live in cities, our brain is unique. The city platform has to be the centralizing place from which the city is managed. This is our model. And from here, and just like people, these structures will allow us to generate multiple intelligence because the platform will allow us to exchange data and information between the different areas, system, etc. Our smart city management model is based on unique data and relies on the reuse of existing technological management solution and integration with the city platform for the management of the data and information for urban elements and the citizen themselves. An integrated management of a corporate technological solutions that results in an efficient and sustainable management of public services through transversal processes, where the digital transformation in which we are immersive make us redesign administrative processes and electronic services under the premise of simplification and integration with the management of the city, where we must incorporate innovative elements of public management, such as analytical accounting, management indicators, and data openness. Our model seeks to intelligently manage public services in order to make them sustainable and inclusive, increasing their efficiency and the life quality in the city. Likewise, it seeks to improve the knowledge to the city by measuring and processing data on the provision of public service, monitoring the appropriate information to optimize services and support decision-making. From this, and the project I have just presented is a good example of them, is the idea of a smart and sustainable Gijón, a green and digital Gijón. It is about a Gijón focused on people and their welfare, and that knows that this necessary implies taking care of itself from an environmental, sustainable, and digital perspective. Thanks for listening to me, and I hope you enjoy both my city and my project. And now, a short video summary of our project.
Thank you very much, Patricia. Alexei, may I ask you to start the video to give us a short overview of the project once more?
Gijón is a dynamic city committed to innovation and sustainability. It is currently immersed in an initiative dealing with the comprehensive smart management of public lighting and municipal buildings, a project based on technologies such as the Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, and data governance policies. Businesses, the university, the city council, and society in general all participate in this ecosystem aimed at the comprehensive smart managing of energy, public lighting, and municipal buildings and facilities, as well as the deploying and operating of the open interoperable IoT network and innovating in municipal services for their green and digital transition and development. Gijón benefits from the European Energy Efficiency Fund in order to finance audits and investment in equipment. The city has launched Gijón Demo Lab, a space where manufacturers and companies carry out interoperability, integration and operating tests between devices, as well as between these devices and the municipal IoT network and city platform. The objective is to improve transparency and participation, thus guaranteeing the maximum number of companies participating in the tender to develop the project. The experience in the demo lab allows the market to be consulted so that these participants can make contributions regarding the technologies and the management model proposed for contracting. The project seeks a variety of results. One is to promote the progressive transition towards renewable energies and towards greener, more efficient systems in the city's energy management. In addition, there's the comprehensive maintenance of technology and equipment, the IoT network, the city platform, public lighting, municipal buildings, devices installed in smart homes, and businesses selected under the Gijón IN initiative, and in other centres and facilities throughout the city. Another goal is to renovate energy-consuming facilities, including all street lights and lighting in municipal buildings. Social and technological innovations are also incorporated through the Demo Lab Technical Office, which provides the Gijón Smart Cities Endowed Chair and the Connector Gijón Space with technical support in order to promote research and development, knowledge transfer and training for the new professional profiles derived from a green digital economy. This system is supported by a management model for public social-private partnerships, which guarantees that control of consumption is carried out by the administration. The service is operated by the bid-winning companies and all data is public. An ecosystem to improve people's quality of life, a city to enjoy living in.
And now I would like to give the word over to Raúl, who is going to give us an introduction to the office of the EEF and in particular the technical assistance facility of it. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Can we look at the slides then? I will not take much of the time of the audience because the presentation of Gijón by itself speaks volumes than whatever I can express in words. So first of all, thank you very much for having invited Gijón and EEF to the Covenant of Mayors event. And it's not the first time that we are participating. And we have to also reiterate that the Covenant of Mayors has been an instrumental factor in helping us help more and more projects. The more projects that we presented here have helped us gain more visibility and get more projects to financing through the European Energy Efficiency Fund. We can move to the next slide. So here we have a quick snapshot about what European Energy Efficiency Fund is. In very few words, the fund is an initiative of the European Commission where it was set up as a lighthouse event. And the idea was to bring more and more public projects to financing. A lot of times we notice that the public projects are misdirected. They are initiatives, but they do not reach the ultimate goal. So here we have sort of put a summary of what the fund has been doing over the last 9 to 10 years in terms of promoting the energy efficiency market. We have since the beginning to around 16 projects since inception, committed around 150 million euros projects at the moment, and globally invested 200 million and above. We continue to grow from strength to strength. As of now, the facts are that we have around 500,000 tons of CO2 reductions, which is equivalent to 64% in comparison to the baseline, and over 1.5 million euros of million megawatts of CO2 primary energy savings through the CO2 intervention that we have been doing. You can move to the next slide. So here is basically a toolkit of how the fund is able to help and is willing to help any project which is in the purview or within the parameters of the fund. So the fund has a full toolkit to help the projects go from idea to investment and then energy savings and primary CO2 savings as well. So the fund in terms of the technical assistance is the beginning where Gijón and the collaboration of the fund started, is where we are able to provide consulting services on a grant base. And the idea being that the projects which are in the ideation stage should be able to come to the public tendering stage, and hence see the next stage where they are able to get to CO2 and primary energy savings. So that is the technical assistance arm of the fund. A lot of projects which are already gone through this and have the tendering in ongoing and they're looking for financing can also benefit from the fund, where the fund is quite flexible in terms of providing debt financing, equity financing, or a combination of both based on what are the requirements of the project. It's important to note that we, as the European Energy Efficiency Fund, is a team of experienced investment managers who are able to adapt the solution, the financing needs, to the needs of the project. So usually it is faster and much more linear to what are the requirements of the projects, irrespective to standard bank financing or loans which are available from other institutions. A few things to keep in mind in terms of the investment criteria. The first one is that there has to be a public link. Since it is an initiative of the European Commission, the first objective is that the public entities are able to benefit from the financing. The financing could be directly delivered to public entities. It could be delivered to private entities who are working on behalf of public entities in a private-public partnership. Or thirdly, it could be to financial institutions who are helping private and or public institutions in the background. In terms of the interventions that we are able to help, the interventions are largely energy efficiency, as the name is Energy Efficiency Fund. Then on top of that, we are also able to help renewable energy projects and also clean urban transportation projects. The few key parameters to keep in mind when you are applying for our financing is that the project should have at least 20% CO2 emissions impact against the baseline. Similarly, the project should deliver at least 20% primary energy consumption reduction with respect to the baseline consumption before the investment. Second parameter, the investment volume should be between 5 million to 25 million. That is not by a hard deadline. It's more like it is within that range that is more suitable for us to work on a project and dedicate resources to it. And lastly, the location, the physical location of these projects should be within the EU member state. So since the Brexit, unfortunately now we are unable to finance projects in the UK, but all the other 27 remaining member states are more than welcome to reach out to us for financing their projects. Next slide, please. So here is a short summary of the technical assistance facility that the fund has, and in particular, in this case, project of Gijón benefited. The broad strokes of this facility are, the idea is that if you have a project in mind and you think that the project can create 20% energy savings or CO2 savings, then it makes sense to reach out to us to bring the idea into a formal agreement where we are able to provide you consultants who can then formulate this idea into a formal document, which can then go for a tender process and invite investments as well as companies to make their interventions into this project. One important thing, actually a couple of important things, the leverage factor that we need in these projects are 20%, which means that imagine that you are looking for 250,000 euros of technical assistance facility. The project that to come out with from this facility should be at least 5 million. Fortunately, most of the projects that we have seen have a leverage factor of over 40, which in itself shows that small ideas when put together can create a substantial impact. And there's always a complaint that, you know, the energy efficiency projects are quite small, they do not reach the investment volume. But if you plan it well and you put together, or you call it bundling it together, then you can reach the necessary volume, which will then attract a lot of investors. You don't have to go only with your European Energy Efficiency Fund to finance these projects once they have been identified. You could go with any preferred financing entity. But we are there to help, but you can choose any which you like. Can you move to the next slide?
Raul, may I ask you to make it short, please?
Yes. So here we have 3 case studies, basically, which can be circulated to the audience or in this call. The 3 case studies are from 3 geographies, Italy, Portugal, and Lithuania, and 3 completely different energy efficiency interventions. So one relates to energy efficiency, the other one to buildings, second one is to street lights, and lastly, the third one is to the street lighting, the electric buses. So this is the first one that you see on the slide is on Italy, a 41 million euros investment. Can we move to the next slide? Can we go to the next slide? Yeah, and this is the second one with respect to street lighting for 14 municipalities in Portugal, 13.5 million investment. Third slide, please. This is the electric buses intervention in Lithuania, 5 million euros investment, and then we can move to the next slide. So here you have a short summary of the overall impact of the fund. You can look at the various countries where we have been active and we have been, in terms of creating impact, have some footprint. Mostly these are Spain, Portugal, UK, France, Italy, just to name a few. And now we are starting off with Lithuania. So, I mean, in a short, I mean, the fund is looking to help all the projects which have the potential to bring the CO2 and primary energy impact through the technical assistance facility and or through financing the projects which have reached the stage where they can be financed. That's it. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot to you, Raul, and thanks again to Patricia. So basically, we have seen that Gijón is a very good example for the diverse challenges nowadays cities or municipalities are facing in terms of the transformation over the next years and decades, not only concerning the decarbonization of buildings and infrastructure, but also the digitalization, big data, but also in addition, the collaboration or empowerment of citizens. So all of these are essential topics to address. And Raul gave us a good overview of what the EEF can do for the municipalities in terms of financing, how they can help, specifically with the technical assistance facility they are offering, and which requirements are there in place to acquire financing. I saw that there is already one question now targeted at Patricia. So the question from Robert Pernetta is the city of Gijón considering the use of off-balance sheet energy performance contracting? And are there model contracts in place for this?
These are good questions. We have a centralized data system. We work with own delivery data that are available for everyone through open data portal. Based on models set by the Spanish legal requirements, we have developed tailor-made contract due to their complexity and the level of the disruption in the actions integrated in the tender. It's a short question and a short answer.
If I may just add to that, the idea here is that most cities do not put a lot of load on their balance sheet. So when we talk about these projects, the intention here is that the companies which come in the tendering process also bring the financing along with them. And in this way, try to create an off-balance sheet solution for the cities so that the city can benefit from this overall package without putting any load on their balance sheet, and in the process get the entire renovation works done, at the same time have some economic benefits from the projects that are run through this process. I hope that answers your question, Robert.
Thanks a lot. I would have another question to Raul. So you have presented the different steps where the intervention is possible, but what is the most critical aspect? So where do projects fail in most of the times already before they are being financed? So in the development process, what is the biggest hurdle?
So, I mean, there are multiple factors for a project to become successful. It starts with the ideation stage, where there are brilliant ideas, but they are not backed by technology. So one of the reasons why many of the solutions fail is there is a lack of proper pilot or a prototype solution which can work for that particular project. So it is more of an idea, but may not work. Second problem, especially with the energy efficiency market, is a lot of projects are incredible in itself, but they're too small. And what is required is that these projects are bundled together to become significant impact for the municipalities, for the cities, and for the citizens. So I would say when somebody or the municipality or cities try to conceptualize a project, they do not focus only on one technology type, but try to aggregate a few technology type. For example, it could be HVAC systems, maybe district heating, cooling networks, street lighting, and then you bundle it, package it together. It is more than likely that it will have an interesting investment volume for most projects to reach financing close.
So that means the bundling itself would have to be done by the municipality beforehand, and there is no assistance in terms of bundling the project to other small projects from your side. They would really need to already figure out how to bundle different smaller projects within the municipality, or possibly also with neighboring municipalities. Correct.
And that's where the technical assistance facility plays a key role. The idea of a technical assistance facility, as I mentioned already in the slides, is to provide with an expert in the area of putting together these projects. So these are sound technical engineers who are putting together a few different distinct technologies into one concrete tender, which then can go to the market and get attraction from the energy services company, and then subsequently financing for that.
Okay, thank you. Robert Panetta has specified his question from before once more. So the question is, normally EPC is counted in Spain as debt of the municipalities, but he has learned that Catalonia has realized a project which was not counted as debt. So the question to Patricia or to the city of Gijón before was, if this concept that the project was not counted as debt was replicated in Gijón as well. So if your project is also not considered as debt for the municipality.
I think that is a very technical question. I prefer this person send me an email to provide you him more details about this, because I don't know now the solutions.
Thank you, Patricia. I hope this is okay for Robert to get in touch with Patricia outside of this session and to get more specific information about the structure and the financing of the Gijón project. Are there any more questions? We have pretty much 1 minute left. So if there is one more question, I'm happy to take it and to ask our two presenters to answer it. Otherwise, I may target you towards our virtual fair, which takes place tomorrow afternoon, where also the EEF will have a virtual stand, where you can get much more information about the technical assistance facility, but also the other opportunities within the EEF, so the financing offers they provide, as well as many other organizations which have a stand there. You are very welcome to join us at this virtual fair tomorrow afternoon. And there's also the opportunity to get in touch with other participants through our networking module. In our public sector strand, we have the next session tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. So this was the last session of this afternoon, but tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. there is the next session focusing on the Renovat project in the Walloon region of Belgium, which is also implementing EPC contracts in the public sector in the Walloon region. It's a project funded by the EIB. And yeah, you have seen the agenda. There are many other sessions tomorrow morning during the morning where you can access through the conference website, through the dashboard, which you can enter on the website. And last but not least, I would like to thank you once more, Raúl and Patricia, for your presentations, for all the information provided, and thanks for the participants to listen in. Have a nice afternoon, and hopefully see you tomorrow morning.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks.